Tony D and Little Joan in the background, and this is your Screenwriter's Rant on three different trailers. One is a Western called Long Shadows, starring Dermot Mulroney. Another is the Five Nights at Freddy's sequel, Five Nights at Freddy's 2. And finally, there's Battlefield 6, a video game, but it's pretty damn cinematic. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Thanks for checking out the Pineys books 1 through 18, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. All right, let's get into it. Long Shadows. I started watching this, and at first I thought, it's a bit light. It's a bit, the look of it, it's a little too clean. But as I watched it, I did kind of get into the story. Dermot Mulroney's in it, who doesn't scream Western to me for an actor. He's often in romantic comedies, and he's a lot of times the bad guy in things. But in here, he's sort of like a old Western gunfighter who's teaching the new kid, and the kid lost his parents, and he's gonna get revenge. But he also falls in love with a girl who gets they sell her out as like a prostitute, but he helps her escape. And then he falls in love with her, so she's the love interest. So she doesn't actually become a prostitute. He frees her before that happens. But he's out to get the guys who killed his parents and did that to his neck. I think they tried to kill him too. But then it's a tale as old as time. Will the revenge destroy him? Is it worth getting revenge? But I gotta say, a lot happens in this trailer. It looks pretty layered. So I was kind of surprised. It's just weird to me how clean and bright this movie is. Feels like it should be a little darker, in terms of the lighting. But it's got some good cowboy stuff in it. I think it would be pretty watchable. Now, I'm partial to Westerns, so take that with a bit of grain of salt. I'm a little biased towards movies like this. But I gotta say, it looks decent. It may even end with the death of the main character. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's him being dragged back to town. Because someone says, "Oh my God." And then this guy says, "God had nothing to do with it." Which is a bit of a cliche, but delivered well. Yeah. That doesn't look bad. Long Shadows. So first act, he's a young kid. His parents are taken from him, and he survives and then grows up without his parents. They show a little bit of it, and then it cuts to, I don't know, several years later. He's grown and he's come back to town to get revenge. Somehow he meets Dermot Mulroney. I don't know if he was a sheriff or whatever, and Dermot decides to help him so he doesn't get himself killed. So he starts training him to be a gunfighter. There's the guy from Lost. It's a weird cast. It is a weird cast. He's English, so I'm not sure if he has the accent in the movie. But at some point, he goes into a bar, and it's partly a brothel, and this girl's sent to his room, and he decides to escape with her. So that's another sort of subplot in this, that he's in love with her, but he is also in town for revenge. So now they're after him for taking the girl away, and he's out for revenge. I don't know if it's the same people. Maybe. And he's being trained by Dermot. So there's a lot going on. And then there's a scene where she's crying. So that's why I say he may be killed at the end. I don't know. But there's a showdown. And then I think it's about whether or not he can get his revenge, or if he's good, or if he dies. I would like to see a happy ending. But it is called Long Shadows. It may be a little dark. Maybe. So, yeah, I would put that on my list. Next up is Five Nights at Freddy, otherwise known as Jump Cut the Movie. Because, look, it's another jump cut movie. Now, this is very popular. It's going to be gangbusters. Absolute gangbusters. The first movie did very well. Fans want to see a second movie. So this should do well for Blumhouse. It's not my kind of movie, quite frankly. It's straight up, who cares for me. It's basically Chuck E. Cheese if it went evil and the animatronic robots started killing everybody. I know there's more to the story, but that's about all it is to me. And for some reason, the evil keeps picking on the same people. But it was a popular movie before, so this is just a continuation of it. It's not for me. In fact, I think it's more of the degradation of culture. You know, you got a nice thing like Chuck E. Cheese's for children, and now you're going to turn it into a horror movie like they did with the Banana Splits, which I was very upset by. But for some reason, the Banana Splits movie didn't do nearly as well as Five Nights at Freddy. Probably because this is a video game, too. And, yeah, it's going to be a horror movie. So, first act, there's a bit where they go to the original Freddy's, which I guess is different from the one that he was in the first movie. So, because it was a franchise, so I guess there'll always be more. And, I think it's his baby mama who goes. I'm not sure. December 5th. But he's having dinner with her. So she goes to the original and finds something very evil in a giant present box. I don't know what it is. Maybe that's a flashback to before the events of the first movie, and maybe she was already dead. I didn't say it. But then it cuts to the present day, and the little girl he saved, who I think is his daughter, is being lured back by the evil robots somehow. And she goes back, of course, and he has to save her again. And then the robots escape the building, or maybe the little girl helps them escape because she's a little girl and not too bright. And then, I don't know, the robots kill a bunch of people until they figure out a way to turn them off. Sounds stupid. I don't like it. Not for me. But that being all said, I would absolutely greenlight this movie. Hell yeah. If I was a studio exec, I'd be like, yeah. Hey, you made a bunch of movies. Take all the money you need. Make 10 of these things. It's making money. What more do you need to know? I don't spend too much, but yeah. So Five Nights at Freddy's 2, that's coming out. And then finally there's Battlefield 6, which is a video game. It's not a movie, but it sure as hell looks like a movie. Look at that. Oh man, it's got music. Here's the president. It's talking about an invasion. I don't know who the hell could invade the United States. That would make any sense, but I guess you could say Russia. They could do it for about 5 minutes before we knock their teeth in. But I think it's actually some generic group called like the Pax Mercenaries or something. Not sure how they could get all these weapons and arms and start blowing everything up, but they do. And that's the point of the game. It's multiplayer. I think it's playing Bob Dylan music in the background. A lot of cool stuff blow up, including New York. There's a Navy portion. I think this is the George Washington Bridge, or maybe it's a fake city that just looks like New York. I don't know. But it looks badass. I'll tell you that. It looks badass. What's the story? It's an invasion. You got to repel the invasion and do all these things. And then you do the end. Here's the lead bad guy. He kind of looks like Kirk Douglas, like a young Kirk Douglas, doesn't he? He's got like a scowl and a scar. I include this because it's very cinematic. And it has about as much plot as Five Nights at Freddy's, so I mean, not a lot of plot there. And there's not a lot of daylight between a movie like Five Nights at Freddy's, which is a movie based on a video game, and an actual video game anymore. You know, there's a plot that runs through this video game. The difference is it's really just an excuse to shoot a bunch of stuff. Right? There'll be a bunch of cutscenes that'll make it work, but ultimately, you know, it's kind of like a movie. All right, let me rank these based on what I saw. Well, what would I put on the bottom? I got to be honest. I put Five Nights at Freddy's 2 on the bottom. It's, again, not my kind of movie. It's just a bunch of jump scares to me. I didn't see the first one. I kind of had a mild interest in it when it first came out. But, again, I know there's a lot of fans of this. It's weird that they're dropping it December, though. They're just dropping it December 5th. In 2023, Blumhock's box office horror phenom Five Nights at Freddy, based on the blockbuster game series by Scott Cawthon. I guess there's maybe a plot in the game that they're basing this on. And the sequel became the highest grossing horror film of the year. Now a shocking new chapter of animatronic terror begins. 1 year has passed since the supernatural nightmare of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. The stories about what transpired there have been twisted into a campy local legend, inspiring the town's first ever Faz Fest. Former security guard Mike and police officer Vanessa have kept the truth from Mike's 11-year-old sister. Oh, it's his sister. Concerning the fate of her animatronic friends, but when Abby sneaks out to reconnect with Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, it will set into motion a terrifying series of events, revealing dark secrets about the true origin of Freddy's and unleashing a long-forgotten horror hidden away for decades. So they're going to add more. So returning co-stars Theodis Crane as Jeremiah, the legendary Matthew Lillard as William Afton, and features new characters played by Freddie Carter, Wayne Knight, Newman, McKenna Grace, and horror icon Skeet Ulrich. Directed by acclaimed filmmaker Emma Tammy? Never heard of her. Written by game series creator Scott Cawthon. So I think it will be, very watchable. It's not for me, but I think it will be very watchable. In fact, I may eventually watch it on streaming one day. So, Godspeed, Freddy fans. Number 2, probably the video game Battlefield. I've heard great things. Here's the write-up. Prepare for the ultimate all-out warfare experience. Here's your look at Battlefield 6 reveal trail for the next game, action FPS series. Battlefield 6 announcement trailer shows chaos unfolding in cities and more. Yeah, it looks pretty crazy. That's what's the fun of it, I think. To create that chaos in the game and move your little guy running around. So I would play this if I had time and money. And finally, I would definitely... Long Shadows is the top one for me. I like Westerns. Call me an old head if you want. But this looks pretty decent. Surprisingly decent. For some... And a weird... Sort of an odd cast, but, totally doable. Totally doable for a movie like this. All right, that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Check me out tomorrow at Words Matter Bookstore in Pitman, New Jersey from 5 to 8 for my talk on how to hunt the Jersey Devil. Saturday and Sunday, I'll be at Pirates and Mermaids in Bridgeton, New Jersey at the Dragon Shops. Looks like the weather's going to hold for Saturday. Sunday's a little iffy, so keep watching the skies. Then Monday, I'll be in Brick for an event there at Complete Care. That's for residents and family members. Again, if you want to go to those places, you have to get permission. And sometimes they like it. Sometimes they allow it, but sometimes they do not. All right. Hope to see you there. We'll see you in the next one.